What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We got another video here on the channel for you guys talking about my CyberPowerPC. I about a year ago put up a video seeing if, I had made a mistake in my purchase or not. At the time, there was a lot of criticism of CyberPowerPC, and today I would like to do a 1-year follow-up on my PC and how it's been. So, with that being said, I'm going to do a quick little run through. I picked a Lian Li case. Let's see what my motherboard is here. Oh, it's a Gigabyte Z590. I bought RAM for it after the fact, so I put like dirt cheap RAM in it from CyberPower. It still performed, even with the dirt cheap RAM. Everything booted up correctly. But I, wanted to put more RAM in. I didn't pay attention to the motherboard that I put in that build, so that motherboard actually was not capable of handling the amount of RAM that I bought, so I had to downsize. But yeah, I got it with the Western Digital Blue 4TB hard drive, and then I threw a 2TB Western Digital SSD in the M.2 slot. Those came direct from CyberPower. It's got the DEEPCOOL Castle AIO. Does have RGB on that, but it was like, for a while it was just like an orange ring. And then one day I kind of like opened the case and like unplugged a cable that I thought was like an LED controller, because there was no software. There was no software anywhere on the device to program that. And because the case is a Razer Lian Li, the case actually has lights on it. And that's, for me, that's all I wanted. I don't want this crazy, computer having all kinds of crazy lights on it. I like that it's a Razer brand. It fits all my peripherals, and then with that, it changes based on one software. I have one app that changes my lights. The only exception is my monitors have one tiny light that points down, and I can change those pretty easily as well. Like I said, I messed with the cable and I got the orange light to stop being a thing, so it's literally not a light at all. It's off. Just fine by me. I think eventually it might be kind of cool to get some kind of a command module in there, or I think it's kind of like an RGB controller, something. And because it's the one that's got the puck on it with the logo of CyberPower, I think it'd be cool to get one with my logo on it. But yeah, it keeps the CPU at a moderate temperature. I will say, because I have an i9 11th gen processor, those were kind of notorious for overheating, and I do overclock mine a little bit. Just with editing and rendering software, I've noticed my software, I use Vegas Pro, and I've noticed that my software is more CPU intensive than it is GPU intensive. And so I've gotten a lot better performance by just boosting the CPU. The fans are your standard. They're just Fantex. They're 120 millimeters. So I've got like 6 fans, I want to say, on the AIO radiator, and I've got another 3. So I believe it's intaking through the AIO and outtaking on the back wall, because I have the AIO mounted vertically on the roof of the case, and I have outtakes, exhaust fans there, as well as I have the GPU I have is a 3080. It's 10 gigabytes, so it's the lesser of the 3 3080s. But that one, I believe, has 3 fans on it as well, so it shoots all that out that way. So maybe internally, as the way as air goes, I don't know, maybe it's not the best, but that might be something I'd like to look at later on and see if there's, once I get some cash saved up and want to maybe redo some things, and or maybe just get a different case. I love my case, don't get me wrong, but there's a Project Snowblind. It's like basically the side of the case is actually a monitor, like it's like glass. I've wanted one of those, but we'll see. Those only work really well if like all the internals are painted white, so it probably won't ever happen. A RAM I have, and all of my specs are in my YouTube descriptions. My RAM, I ended up putting G.SKILL Ripjaws And like I said, I had 4 sticks of 16 gigs, and my motherboard wouldn't handle it at the. It's also the 3600, which is crazy now because it's DDR4, and we're already like sending out motherboards with DDR5 at like crazy speeds. So, might be cool one day eventually to get to upgrade my PC, for the sake of processing. But really, mine does everything I need right now. So, thermal take tough power, 750 watt, 80 plus gold power supply. Like I said, I did have a MSI 3080 Ventus 3X, which is the 3 fans. That has pretty much done everything I've needed it to do. The Halo Let's Play, I've been recording and playing the game in 4K, and I've been pretty consistent with 60 frames. The only issue I've had with Halo is basically how the game is designed. Facial animations aren't 60 frames. Like they're like 30 or less. They look pretty atrocious. It's the Elgato capture card, Pro MK.2 4K 60. I put that in myself. It sits right underneath the GPU. My GPU came with a support bracket, because it is such a big GPU. They don't want them to sag, so they actually did install that for me. So whenever I put my Elgato in, I actually had to put it on the same bay that bracket's attached to, but it works just fine. I really didn't have to do anything crazy or anything special to do that. C922 Pro, it's 1080 camera. That I didn't buy from CyberPower, so why am I talking about it? I don't know. But yeah, so when it came in, all the cables were managed really well. Have no complaints. They were all zip tied. As far as performance, I have had amazing performance in games like Halo Infinite, where all the graphics are on the highest settings. I'm playing it in 4K. Yeah, so as far as performance goes in games like Halo Infinite, when I'm playing games at 4K and I'm also recording them, I can say that I get a solid 60 frames, sometimes more. You know, in certain circumstances, it can go anywhere up to 120. In Call of Duty, I don't play at 4K because I don't record Call of Duty. I was getting like 200 to 220 frames on moderately high graphics. I'm trying to think, what's another game that I've been playing? Fall Guys isn't really much of a test, but the other day I accidentally realized that I was getting like 200 frames on 4K. And I went and I quickly changed it from 4K to 1080 because my monitors that I have are 1080. But because I like you guys to enjoy what you're watching me play, I actually will record certain games in 4K. There's also another reason, and that's because YouTube has a weird way of doing their videos. So if you're not like a big YouTuber and you upload at 1080p, they just drop your bitrate to where it looks really bad. Like, even though it's 1080p, it almost looks like it's like something you used to watch on your very first cell phone kind of thing. So I upload at higher res just because it forces them to encode it differently. As far as rendering goes, I can usually render a video with my i9 processor and my 3080. Probably takes like a 1-to-1 ratio. It probably takes like a second to render 60 frames. No, yeah, second to render 60 frames. So it renders 60 frames a second of 4K footage. As far as 1080 goes, it's been a little while since I've rendered anything in 1080. This Halo Let's Play I've done has all been exclusively 4K. So, but yeah, as far as how everything's holding up, I haven't had any crashes. If anything ever crashes, it's because the application, you know, like me and my wife like to play Fortnite. Fortnite again, I have all the graphics turned all the way up. I'm playing on 1080p, and I'm getting between 220 and 240 frames consistently. Not a big surprise. Fortnite's not super graphically intensive, but I do play with the ray tracing and like the water reflections and stuff. As far as every game I've played, this 3080 performs well. It's probably going to perform well for a while. There is, you know, I think eventually I would like to get a 3080 Ti, because there's the 3080 with the 10 gig, there's the 3080 with the 12 gig, and there's a 3080 Ti with the 12 gig. And in 4K games, you can get probably another 20 frames out of just upgrading to a 3080 Ti. So I have thought about, if I get my wife a gaming PC, a tower, the goal would be to get her one with that graphics card, and then I would switch her, because whenever I'm recording my footage, it would be beneficial for me to have that one, and then she would have the 3080, which would be more than enough for anything she'll ever play, because right now she's on a 1080p display. So with that being said, I'm going to conclude this. I want to make it really short and concise, because my last one I rambled a lot. If you want to see any of my initial thoughts on it, I'm linking the video hopefully right here. Is that the thing? Is it like this thing? I don't know. I'm going to link something somewhere. If not, I'll definitely have it at the end of this video. And I encourage you, if you're interested in what like the buying process looked like, I talk about that a bit more there. They did walk me through a lot. Whenever I first set up my purchase, I don't believe there was any case fans included, so he helped add those in, walked me through, you know, what would be enough fans. I had concerns about my 750 power supply not being enough for my 3080. He said no, it's going to be perfectly fine, and it has been. I haven't had any power issues whatsoever. So as a 12-month follow-up to that original video, I have no complaints. I think really when it comes down to buying a pre-built, you want to go custom. If you go custom, you're ensuring that somebody who is specifically designed to build custom PCs is building your computer. When you get the prefabs, you don't know if it's an assembly line. It might be people building them. I don't want to ever talk down about anybody and their company and their position, but I notice a lot of issues with CyberPowerPCs were coming from their streamlined, you know, big batch style systems that they were building. Mine was custom. You can go on their website, you can look at it, you can sit there and say, hey, I like this, but I want to change this, this, and this, and you can customize those. So I believe in those instances, you're already getting a custom built PC to your standards. So that's what I like to do, because then you can kind of go based off of, well, if you're looking at 12th gen processors, it's going to make sure that you have a motherboard that's for that. And then it's not going to give you, if it's a DDR5 system for RAM, it's going to make sure that you don't accidentally select the wrong RAM. So the way their infrastructure is really good on CyberPower. I know there's a lot of other companies out there that are good, but this video is really just to ease your mind that I'm 12 months down the road from my CyberPower PC. This video is just to calm your minds that 12 months down the road, I'm still enjoying my computer. It's everything I've wanted it to be. And, you know, I was lucky to get this computer without having to pay for scalped parts. So, but yeah. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for the like, the comment that you're going to do in the future, I hope. If you found this video entertaining, informational, please hit that like button so it lets other people know that I'm doing something good here. And yeah, if you know somebody who is thinking about or interested in a pre-built, specifically from CyberPowerPC, send them this video. Let them know that, you know, my experience has been awesome. Like I said, customer support was awesome, and I haven't had any issues with my computer. So yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Go ahead and hit the like, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye. Look